Hello everyone, this is Geek Tropology, and today I'm doing my first review in the channel, I guess, and it's about a series that I really love, the IT Crowd. And I will be doing episode by episode because you know what? I enjoy it that much. I just want to see the whole series again, to be honest. And you know what? The fun part is this series is spot on. It's just spot on. And I'll be picking apart a few details here and there, but uh, I have worked in IT for 15 years now, even a bit more, almost 17 years now. From my when I was around 15, I used to fix PCs. Then my first try in the university was uh, let's say software engineering, but I had economical troubles, so I had to get out um of the career, and then after going to biology and everything, I ended up one morning saying I want to do a video game, and that's how I ended up again working on IT, working as a software developer instead of only managing hardware. So, saying that, I have seen a lot of things that the people that scripted this must have been in any IT background for a long time. So a car. Okay, let me tell you this. This scene where Jen is applying for the job, I actually did something like that, but I had also had to cover for people that have lied in their resumes. Um, in my curriculum, I said that I knew database managing when I got my first job as a software developer. I, of course, did not know that, and it took me 1 week to learn everything I knew. I need to do my work properly. So for a whole week, I didn't knew shit of what I was doing. Then a couple of years later, I was working in a company where my boss, a lady, didn't knew jack squat about technology at all. I had to write for her everything she said to to the clients and to the people investing in the projects. It was a great time. Of course, it was a great time. I had to do her job and my job. And she never took the time because she was good at public relationships like Jen. So, and she lied about being an expert on social media, software managing, and such. It was not a fun time for me, but this actually happens. Then we see a bit of how the IT team works, and I want you to get a good look at the scenery because it's wonderful. First of all, a lot of the toys nerds have are not toys that you get for fashion or for decoration. Those are pieces that you have been getting throughout your life, and sometimes you get a toy that is decent enough to take to your office. I have got my office full of toys. And another thing, you see in multiple parts that the office is full of old PCs and old PC hardware. And it's not like you will have, let's say, just a ton of parts lying around. That happens when you are working on IT. You get to repair and manage a lot of equipment, and a lot is useless or will be deprecated, so you save it for later, and you never ever ever use it again. So I have boxes full of useless crap, but it is what it is. One time you need a capacitor here, you need to add on a board for one thing or for another, or you are going to do a zombie machine to maybe test a hacking system. I don't know, you are doing a Kali Linux and you want to see if any of your ports is vulnerable. Anything you do, having a lot of pieces around actually helps, and helps a lot. And having multiple terabyte hard drives and such works. So I can see me in this office knowing where everything is, every single part is. And I mean it, man. And obviously you need to modify what you are doing, so you may have to get a bit extreme, but that's the life of an IT personnel. And this is the detail, the amount of detail, the amount of obscure pop culture, of random hardware pieces is, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful for me. It's amazing seeing that amount of detail, and that's why I want to go each episode. And the first episode is only a setup. It's the setup for the whole joke, and they do it perfectly. Also, the way they greet Jen and the way they try to be nice people in front of new people, then anyone on the group fuck you, screw this situation terribly by being themselves. I have been there. I have been the one saying the stupid shit. But I have this friend, Adrian, that he was from a small town, but he was a pure breed geek. He was completely a geek. So he will know only the Linux jargon and the tech jargon. He was so isolated from everyone that he didn't know how to really talk to people. And he will go and ask, this is a real story, ask a prostitute about the amount of money necessary in the exchange to get to swap bodily fluids. And I'm translating that literally. This is the kind of people we are. We don't know. We are not around women. We are not around people. We are around PCs, and that makes you less able to actually speak with people. And the way they set up the office being a wonderful, wonderful place, and then the IT being in the dungeon, basically, that has happened to me before. That is something that I have actually had to endure. Being in the ugly part of the building, because it's the only place where you can have a lot of shit lying around and a bunch of burned materials and such. So we, the nerds, go to the dungeon. Also, the appearance of the flying spaghetti monster is something that I adore. And the use of, you know what, you get the residuals of the publicity campaigns and such, and you will have a lot of extra materials like stickers. And yeah, I can see me because I have done that, decorating the office with shit and actually doing a Christmas tree with crap and such. It's something that we do. Then we see the way the boss pressures them to work together. And that's genius. If you have seen the extra scene, the deleted scene from this episode, Desmond then calls to say, you know what, it was all a joke, but everyone was already fired. And he says, I'll fire everyone in security because they don't act as a team and such. But I have been in situations where a boss, and well, I was working doing pharmaceutical software, okay? So this was a high pressure environment. We had to do things quite efficiently, and I guess I cannot say the pharmaceutical company that I was working for. I was a third party hired by them. I was working in a company that did software, and there was a disagreement. The solution that the boss got was to fire one of the key people in the project. So everybody else, me and a few other people, will get in line and do what they had to do. That's a strategy that works a lot with nerds because nerds normally don't know how to fight if they have not done that before. So, especially if you are a career man in a company and you have never had the need to fight back, you will be. Actually, I was like Moss. I was a lot like Moss when I was a kid. A 27-year-old kid at the time, but you get the idea. And then you have the great decision to make a party to make them work with people. Also the beating. I have been in situations where I yell at customers and they come for revenge. Yes, I have been there. And by the way, I have been in situations where you get the call and you never pick up because you are doing anything. But you know what? You are, and this is my perspective on the issue. When you are on IT, you are less important for the company that you should be. You are keeping the communications working, you are keeping the software working, you are keeping the company working. But you are the basement rat, the basement dweller. So they hate you. I have been there before. You feel underappreciated. You hear the phone, you hear the phone, you hear the phone, you hear the phone. You get tired of hearing the fucking phone because what the hello? Okay, fuck you. And yes, it's the same layout and it's the same fucking phone because why not? Because this series is so well researched, so well developed, that if you are an IT guy and you don't give a shit about the mundane comedy in the show, you will still get a ton of enjoyment by seeing your daily life being a joke, because being a software engineer is a joke. It's a terrible, terrible joke. Then you got the party, and then Moss goes to tell the prostitute story. As I said, this is too real. This series is too real for me. That is amazing. That I can get so much enjoyment of laughing at things that I know can happen. Okay? One of the. This is a soft story. Once I went to an establishment where you can exchange your money for fucking a whorehouse. And it was Valentine's Day. So I thought, there's lights, there's balloons everywhere, there's loud music, they gotta be in a fucking party. I will swallow my fear of being seen entering one of those sites. I'll pay the fee and I'll get in and I'll see the debauchery. I got in. It was empty except for the guy in the bar and two workers, female workers, if you know what I mean, that were bored as fuck playing in their phones. So I sat there. With your fee for entering, you get a beer. I was enjoying my beer. I asked to the guy in the bar, he told me, you know what? Every single guy is trying to get with his significant other a bit of redemption for being every single other night here. So, normally, this date, we don't even care about opening because no one is coming here. I had one of the best dialogues with one of the workers about clothing. Then I went home without enjoying any debauchery at all. This is the kind of situations that you usually don't tell in a public situation. Because it's just stupid. If it is a debauchery tale, you need to go big. If you don't, well, it's not so fun, right? And my story may sound boring as fuck, but trust me, it was boring as fuck. So what can you do about it? That's the reality, and that's why I love this series. It concentrates the amount of stupid. It's not silliness, it's almost like innocence that you can get from someone that is socially depraved for a long period, being around people and trying to communicate with the most stupid shit that you can get because you want to be charming or whatever, and running it up. That's a nerd staple. And the way they act, the whole thing is perfect. I love this series because it doesn't hold back with the silliness of it all. Everything is silly here. You can see the toys, you can see grown adults being as child. But if you have been in IT, you know that truly happens. And it's not until you have to face reality that you stop being a nerd, being a full-time nerd. And I love this series because of that. And I'll give this episode 9 out of 10. I guess it's a great introduction for the series, for the concept. It shows a lot that I love from working on the IT environment. And I do believe if you can, please check this series. Truly recommend it. Until the next time. That will be Stargate SG1 this Thursday. See you next time.